Okay. Rabbi Sai, let's do Q&A. Go ahead. Who has a question?
How do you stop someone from speaking? Or no, I want to know what's the severity of speaking Lashon Hara?
Okay.
Like,
Lashon Hara, the Gemara says, it's better to throw yourself in a firing furnace than to speak bad about another human being. That's talking about you, right? How bad is it? It's extremely bad. Because what happens when you talk Lashon Hara? It's something that can never be reversed. Ever. It can never be reversed. Once you say something bad about someone, that's it. All hell broke loose.
is it counted the same if you have that thought in your head and you don't say it out loud?
Okay, so the Chafetz Chaim says you're not allowed to even believe it. Let's say you hear it, you can't believe it.
No, forget about that. Let's say you just see something and you notice it and you're like, I don't like that he did that, I don't like that she did that, and have it in your head, but you won't say it out loud. Or I saw this action.
That's not Lashon Hara, that's something totally different.
Okay.
Rabbi, doesn't the Chafetz Chaim...
One second, I'm sorry. That's something totally different. You're talking about a scenario, you see a situation, and automatically you start to judge the person.
Right.
Okay. That's a problem also. Because you have to dan lekav zchut every single human being. You have to find the benefit of the doubt for everyone. And the best thing to do is to confront if you have a question. Don't be, we have a problem. We start to assume. That's how a lot of problems happen in people's lives. They start to assume things. Stop assuming. Ask. I have a problem. I have a situation. I saw this and it's bothering me. Maybe he has a good reason. You never know. Maybe he has a valid reason.
Okay, I have another question.
Okay, that was taken care of?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's say, are you allowed to tell your spouse, or let's say you just need to vent? Are you allowed to just choose one person to tell everything to, or have that as your spouse and that counts as Lashon Hara?
Well, usually, in a normal relationship, that's usually what happens. The spouse is usually someone you vent to and you say stuff in. Now, we're not gonna lie. Spouses talk Lashon Hara about people all the time. Everyone's guilty of this. But here was where you have to use your brain. Both, if you're a woman or a man, irrelevant. When your spouse is venting and saying stuff, you have to turn the situation into a kav zchut situation. Stop judging. You don't know. Who are we to judge? We're not in their position. Where are you coming from? You want God to also test you. Automatically, when you say these things, what happens? The whole situation starts to go down. So, regardless of who you're venting to, the person needs to be smart enough to manipulate the situation in a way that you don't have those feelings of hatred or disgrace towards the other person.
So is it still a problem that one spouse is talking Lashon Hara about somebody
It's a
else?
problem that you're speaking Lashon Hara. That's not a question.
It's still a problem?
Of course. What does make a difference?
I don't know, that you're allowed, you can vent. I always thought that you can vent.
You have to vent.
Okay.
You're gonna vent.
So, what's
You're gonna vent either to your husband or to your friend. If you're smart, you'd vent to the toilet, but you're not gonna vent to the toilet because you're gonna look retarded, right? As they say your dreams to the bathroom. I heard that one time. Someone told me that. I started laughing. But okay. Now, Lashon Hara. If someone tells you Lashon Hara, it's a problem once you believe it. So automatically, when you start to judge a person for the benefit of the doubt, you don't really believe it. Unless you really have that crookedness in you, and you start saying, "Oh, don't worry, God knows what He's doing," in his mind, like, "Wow, shit, how can He actually do that?" But that's already a problem with someone personal. That's a different situation. But a person has to understand. If you won't know this unless you learn. Person has to understand he needs or she needs a very good relationship with their spouse, and it should be that way. That you should be able to vent to your spouse, and a spouse shouldn't be fanatic. You shouldn't say, "Oh, I want to hear it," because what actually happens, they're gonna vent, but they'll go to do it to somebody else, and that somebody else not necessarily is going to be a good choice, and it gets bad. So the person has to understand you're venting, and even if you have Yirat Shamayim and you do vent, you have to right away say, but I bet you had a good reason for it, and I don't believe it. Everything's going to be okay, and I have Kav Zchut, and I still love him or love her the way it is, and everyone has their tests and challenges, and no one's perfect. So it's a working on finding Kav Zchut, Avat Yisrael, Kav Zchut, finding favor in your eyes, in the person's eye. Now, what happens is when you don't know what's going on and you see or someone tells you, you build stories in your brain, and those stories kill you. Why? Because now you're making assumptions about most probably things that are not even there. And even better yet, they're living rent-free in your brain.
Okay, now let me ask you another question.
No, I didn't finish.
Oh.
I didn't finish. And that's the stupidest thing in the world. To allow someone else's opinion about you bother you. That's his problem or her problem. What is it to me? If that's the way you feel about me, I'm sorry. I can't control how you feel. But the problem is when a person in his nature is a pleaser and he's an overthinker, that's what happens. They start to build imaginations in their brain. And that's why sometimes you have to have the midah of not caring. You need to. That's the only way you live long without any white hair. You live, I don't care. That's his problem. But the whole world knows that's their problem too. I know what I do, and I'm going to continue. You know how many times it happened to me, happened to my wife? Happened to my wife recently. Rabbis were saying Motzi Shemra about my wife. And other people, other ladies. And at the end, they were all wrong. But my wife said, I'm going to keep it to myself. Let God judge them. God will be their judge, not me. They were blackmailing her. She meant right. She was doing what's right. We did everything. Still, they wanted to blackmail because of other certain reasons. God will be their judge. Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is coming. Everyone gets judged. We forgive 100%. But I'm not going to allow them to live rent-free on my mind. I don't care. Now, what's your question?
Another question that I had was, they say that you should choose your friends wisely and you should choose the surroundings wisely. But I think that a big part of that is knowing a background information about other people. Because why should you surround yourself about people and figure it out on your own when you can just... Like, it's the same thing when you're dating. Like, before you go out with somebody, you know a little bit about them beforehand so you don't waste your time. So I would say it's the same thing. Like, it's good to ask people around, like, oh, do you know this person? Or, like, if you hear certain stories, even though you see something in front of you, but you heard stories about them in the past, it's good to keep that in mind so that you don't fall into that also. Okay. Or to...
So usually the derech of the world is friendships, they don't just happen. I mean, they don't come planned. They come unplanned usually. You go to school, you meet them, you get acquainted, you get to know them, and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. Usually you don't have resumes of who's who in order. Okay, today I'm picking you as my friend, this is your resume, and so on and so forth. It doesn't usually go that way. For shidduchim, yeah, it makes somewhat sense because you have to have the same ideology on certain things. So maybe I don't understand your question, and you want to elaborate it?
Okay.
I can elaborate.
It's okay, let her elaborate. Thank you.
I think that I can tell you myself, I'm very picky with who I'm friends with. And if I hear about somebody or something that I don't like that they do.
Are you already friends with them?
No.
Okay.
It's like I'll see them in the hallway, or even in the past I would hear, let's say like, oh, I heard that they've done, or they are a certain way, or they're a certain type of friend to other people.
Okay.
And then I somehow, some way come across their path, and I'm nice to them, I have no issue, but in my head I'll keep in mind, I heard A, B, and C, I should keep that in mind, keep a distance, or don't say certain things, or know that they're...
So where's the question here?
That's the Lashon Hara, but I like to know who I'm dealing with, so that I can pick and choose how close I can be.
So basically, when you get acquainted with someone, you want to know about them before you actually start to put them in your inner circle.
Sometimes it happens I never met them before. Sometimes it happens that I would meet them and then hear things about them later. It depends on.
I don't think it's proper to seek information about people.
It's not purposeful.
I never said it's purposeful. If it just happens, I understand you found out. Like you're
Right.
with your friends, you say, oh, you know that person? She or he did A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Right.
Now, you don't need you have to not believe it, but it doesn't mean now you have to start associating yourself with that.
But if you're not associating, that means you
No,
believe it.
not true. Not
If
true.
I heard good things, then I would want to go out of my way to be friends with
Okay.
that person.
Could be, but doesn't mean you have to believe it. There's a doubt, and you continue going. That's it. You don't need to overexpand on this because for some reason you're overthinking this thing and it's starting to eat you alive.
Yeah, but you said that you shouldn't be hearing Lashon Hara or talking Lashon
Correct,
Hara, which
but
means-
it doesn't mean now I have to start believing everything that I hear, and doesn't mean now I have to be or friend everyone that I meet.
Right.
It doesn't mean that. You can still do whatever you gotta do in the same time, keep a distance. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Question.
Maybe hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically, or fine.
Stop. It's not. She came up with that. She was.
Hypothetically, I'm gonna answer you.
Yeah. But so let's say.
What are we betting on?
Stop. Stop. So
Said better than. Makes sense.
basically, let's say let's say a friend comes up to you, right? And he said to you that, oh, he's dating this girl, and he asks you, oh, do you know anything about this girl? And let's say you know things that maybe this girl did in the past, or maybe she changed, or you know things she did in the past. And the guy asks you, do you know anything about her? I just want to know to see if I want to obviously pursue the relationship forward.
Why are you specifically asking you?
Because again, he thinks
It's your boy.
I know her. Or whatever. Let's say I know the girl and he knows that I know the girl and he asks me, oh, what do you think of her? Because I want to pursue like a serious relationship with her. What do you know about her? Can you tell me anything? At what point is it Lashon Hara and at what point is you actually, you know what I'm saying?
It's a fine line. It's a hairline. It's a hairline. That's the truth.
Because if you tell me something bad and then you could potentially open go for 1 point and be like, yo, you killed the shit.
Forget about that. Forget about that.
Yeah.
It's a hairline. That means you have to be so. You
Your
have to-
intent, like what is it? Your intent, like you're saying.
So this is what I would suggest. I would suggest that if your friend knows something, he should tell someone in a higher position to tell you. Because friends take things out of proportion. Nature, teva of friends is just out of this world. To break that automatically, what you need is you need someone that is much intelligent to break the news to you without adding any fluff.
What does that mean? So I'm saying who would do that?
Because if God forbid you want to go out with a girl and you know she's been around, the way your friend would say and the way someone that's much older and smarter is two different ways.
That the question is now.
Right or no? Yes or
Yeah,
no?
you're 100%
That's
right.
that's it.
But the question is, those people who you're talking to know the information about her? Because again, he's going to because he knows that you know her and so he's asking you, listen, did you hear anything about this girl?
I just answered you. You want me to? This is what you want.
No.
The friend should say it, and he should run away from her.
I'm asking you,
I'm never gonna say that.
I know. I'm saying, what level does it become Lashon Hara? Like, are you supposed to lie? Like, I don't know. Or are you supposed to say, yeah, this is what she did?
No, do your research. I think everyone before they get married should do some research.
Yeah, but they're doing their research by asking you. That's their research.
Correct.
In a way, that's their research.
Correct. But it's a problem if you know her.
Why is it a problem?
I want to say it's a problem.
You're not listening. Maybe for you it's not because you live in that kind of circle of life. Right? You understand? But the guy right next to you, it would be, I think, a bit of a problem for him. Yes or no? Unless he also lives in that circle of life.
Again, you could have been in school with her. You could have been next door neighbors.
Did you hear
could
what I
have
just
been-
told you?
Yeah, no, I hear.
That's it.
I hear.
We don't need to expand on this topic.
I'm just curious what level it's.
Don't seek negative. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm saying.
But if you know she's really bad for him, what are you supposed to do? It might ruin his reputation.
Again, I don't care about reputation. If he doesn't know that by now, well, then how bad it can it really be?
What do you mean you don't care about reputation?
I don't care about reputation.
How can you say?
I think it's both. I think it's to say I care about my reputation is very childish. It's what little kids say.
For girls or for guys?
Both.
I don't know about that.
It's childish.
What if someone chooses or not to hang out with you or not based on your reputation?
I'm gonna explain to you why. I'm gonna explain to you why.
But shouldn't you do shit for people
Once
not to
you-
speak about you?
I can't hear you.
Shouldn't you also do shit you should do for people to not speak about you?
I'm not disagreeing on
That's
that.
the reputation.
No, reputation is something else. You don't want to marry because certain things are bad and it's gonna ruin my name.
No, that's what we're talking about. What we meant.
So what did you mean?
Saying reputation in terms of how is that person perceived among public, like in terms of what he does, how he acts in front of people. I'm saying that type of reputation. Saying you don't care about that at all.
No, I'm not talking about that. I was talking about what really reputation means.
That's what I thought you meant.
You're talking about how someone perceives himself in public. And you judge someone by the way he's acting in the public. That's two different
You
things.
think that's not important?
That's important.
So that's reputation.
Not necessarily.
Mm.
I'm going to explain to you.
So what is that called?
Reputation comes from actions that did or that do a positive or a negative effect that leave a certain headline on you.
Uh-huh.
Now, certain things people do that don't leave headlines, but they're not too good or they're not too bad. For example, if a girl likes to hop around, she does not good things, right? She's known for that. That's called a bad reputation. But if a girl, Rahman al-Islam, fell in it once or twice, in this tshuva and never did it again, she's not under that reputation. She doesn't have that. She's not considered as a zebra, as we call it in the shul. The zonah, in the shul we call it a zebra. So, but let's say a person does something bad, right? We call it the zebra to keep our mouths bitahara, right? Let's say a person does certain things that are inappropriate outside, right? And no one really knows why. He doesn't do it always. He did it once or twice. Suddenly when he has that label, that's his reputation. Do we bury the person alive because he did one thing wrong?
No,
But that's what happens. That's exactly my point. What happens is you as youth create this whole narrative that this person's a Rasha Merusha, or this girl is unfortunately, she's innocent, she got convinced, or so on and so forth. And now she becomes the zona of the street. And what happens? You build that name, on that person. And from such a bushav, such an embarrassment, she starts to do the sin because she thinks she has no hope.
I don't think that's true. I think that if you work on yourself and you prove to your other people that it's not.
But that's the problem. This is why, again, this generation has an issue. We're pleasing everybody else. We're pleasing the world. We need to stop that. No.
But it's not a world of just you and yourself and I.
This world is only God. It happens to be there are other people too that have the same mission as you, but in a different lane. This world is between you and God.
Going don't matter.
I never said going don't matter. You said that. You happen to be right, but you said that. I didn't say that. Of course they matter, but in a different. No. You see, in the George Washington Bridge, there's the lower level and there's the upper level. Just we are in two different levels. That's it. But they matter too. Someone needs to build the bridge, right?
We could like to go, right?
What?
We could like to go.
I never said that either.
Off record.
You can't lie to a guy.
You can't lie to a goy?
No.
What?
It's a huge chilul Hashem.
You also get a sin if you make them do it.
It's a huge chilul Hashem.
Not really.
People have this narrative that you can steal from them, you can lie to them, you can cheat them, you can kill them. Absolutely not. You have to be or lagoim. You have to be a light for them. How are you going to be a light for them if you're here and you're doing the exact opposite? So you were saying, wait, let's get back to this reputation thing. Are you allowed to do what? What did you say? You said it. You asked the question. You forgot. You see, it's not important. It's not important. Go ahead.
Different question.
This is question time. You can do whatever you want. You can ask about bowling if you want.
About what?
Bowling if you want, even. Whatever you want.
What's so the whole thing with the wife going to work and the guy learning kollel for
What about it?
for whatever for however long time, is that like? I'm not saying it's like an Ashkenaz shita, but I'm saying like where did that even come from? And is it like? And it's not the most popular thing in our community, I know, but
Natural.
it's definitely not the most. It's not everybody does it. I'm saying.
Whatever you seek, that's what you get.
Ali, before you're born into this world, Hashem already made your
You heard what I
soul.
just told you?
So,
Whatever you seek, that's what you get. If you're seeking that, you're gonna get that. If you're not seeking that, you're not gonna get that.
Is it fine if a person doesn't want that?
What?
Is it fine if a person doesn't
Sure,
want
it's
that?
100%
Can
fine.
he still?
100%.
Can he still acquire Torah? if he
100%.
doesn't do that?
100%. Want to hear a secret? Majority of people that acquired Torah were the ones
Work.
that worked and learned.
But that's in the. You're talking about the Gemara.
I'm talking about nowadays. You want to know why? Because at least 80% are always in by the coffee, and they're there doing their shtick. They're
The
not-
guys who are only learning.
Yes, they're not doing L'Shem Shamayim. I don't care if you yeshiva guys come and fight with me. I was in Kollel. I've been
I don't
around.
disagree with you at all.
I'm just letting you know. I think a person is very healthy for him to learn. I do also feel that a person should stay in Kollel for a year or two. It gives certain foundations and fundamentals to a marriage.
And not work for that whole year.
Correct. You can hustle like every Kollel guy does, no matter what you tell me. Right? They make more money than most people that are working. I don't even know how they do it. Hashem gives them siyata d'shmaya. But I do feel it gives a sense of foundation. I do also feel that if the man and the woman don't have the right or the same ideologies of how they want to function in their house, you're just going to create chaos. If you're marrying a Baal Tshuva girl, you have to make sure that her de'ah is 100%, because I'm right now in a couple of cases of girls that thought they want a guy that's learning, but they're now guys learning and they're going bananas. Whatever the case is, you have to know exactly that she knows exactly what she wants. She knows what she's signing up for. Very important, because then you're going to be in a hellhole and she's going to be in a hellhole. And that's my understanding on that.
So like a year or two, depending or whatever I'm saying, however long the person needs those bikurim of only learning mainly is definitely like you're saying Shana Rishona, Shana Shania for sure.
You don't want to know my idea in Shana Rishona.
In general, like when a person.
In general, you don't want to know it. I'm telling you.
Huh?
You don't want to know what I feel about the first year or two of marriage.
Why can I know, please?
I feel the first year or two of marriage, all couples have to go to a different country.
Okay, yeah, no, I completely, I agree,
When
but
you
like, I'm saying
separate?
there's no way, like, it's so unrealistic
Toodles.
for so many people.
talking about
together?
My son and daughter, when they get married, they tell me, Abba, we want to go to Israel for a year or two. I will buy them their ticket and say,
No, but you're saying
Laila
the couple
Tov.
together.
It's very popular in the Syrian
What?
community.
The couple together. You
Together, of course. Whoa, himself,
Yeah, I
leaving his
know.
wife here?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was confused.
At the
with
middle down? You
What's
want
your
to know why? You want to know why? Because they have to learn how to be together.
Of course.
That's my reason why.
what do you mean?
We have an issue in this community. Everyone got to get involved.
I know.
Like a disease. Like a disease. Disgusting. It disgusts me. It makes me, I want to throw up.
Rabbi, it's all right.
Husbands, fathers, mothers, everyone thinks they're right. No. Let them figure it out. If they have questions, if they have problems, they'll reach out to you. Let them figure it out. Let them grow. Whose house you coming on Shabbat? Where are you going for the holidays? What are you doing? Why she's like this? Why he's like that? What is it to you? You have your own problems at home. Your wife doesn't listen to you. You want your daughter-in-law to listen to your son? What are you saying? And what are they? Like, where are you coming from? You have your own problems. Oh, because you can't be the man in your house. You want to be the man now in your son's house? It's a tip shoot. I think they should go away. They should figure themselves out. We have a problem in this generation. We don't know how to detach. We don't know how to cut the umbilical cord. We have to learn to take an umbilical cord and cut it off spiritually. The kids must learn how to live their life. If they need help and guidance, we're here for them. A new sickness came. We have to give an unlimited credit card to the youth. They have to learn how to live. The heck is that all about? What kind of nonsense is that? Oh, he's in college. He can't support himself. What the heck? Go find a job. They're both in college. Okay, one of you take a time out. Let one finish, support, and switch. What, the parents became a bank out of nowhere? What kind of nonsense is this?
But people do that for guys in Kolel. Like, what's,
I don't necessarily say I agree with it. They can do whatever they want.
you're saying parents supporting guys in Kolel.
I don't think that's proper. I'm sorry to tell you this. Yeah, I don't find it proper.
But so many people do this in some communities. Like, it's not like a.
I don't again. I don't think it's. I don't even think it's. I don't think it's proper.
Why?
Why?
Under the Gadaev door, they back that also like.
Of course they back that. I'm not disagreeing with Gadaev Hador. Of course they back that. But it's not proper because you're teaching bad habits. You're teaching how to not be a functional house. You're teaching how not to be able to handle challenges. I'm thinking past now. I'm thinking relationship-wise. Since when did mommy and daddy become a bank account? They're not a bank account. They're here to give you kelim, tools, and you have to learn how to live your life with them. Maybe I'm talking like this out of my own experience with my parents. Once I got married. But they helped me to buy a house. They gave me a loan. A loan. You heard what I told you? They gave me a loan.
But not like constant financial.
No way. My father told me once I got married, my mother, we're not helping you. They said like this, we have a basement. You are more than welcome to live there as long as you want. Once you leave, that was your choice. Bye-bye. I lived there for 2 months, and I left. My brother moved into the basement. He lived there for 2.5 years, I think. That was the help they gave us. To be a bank? What is this, credit cards we giving out to little kids? Unappreciative? And these kids don't even know how to say thank you or hello to their in-laws after their in-laws are supporting their tuchases. What kind of nonsense is this?
Yeah.
You want a cola life? I agree. I want you to also have it. But it's your decision. You have to learn how to figure it out.
So I'm saying if a person is not.
Now there's a big difference. I have to say this. If a person is a mamash matmid, you know what a matmid is? A guy that you see this guy, you know he's a learning guy. He's not a guy that's flimsy. He's mamash. Your mom, day and night, he's on the books. He's learning. He's asking questions. That's a different story. Hidden talent is a different story. But you have a guy that's playing Winnie the Pooh over here. No, I'm sorry. It's a different ballgame. I'm sorry. You done? You can ask. He's wrong.
No, I just, okay, so like the guy wants to live a cool life for that year or two. It's not, he can't like, it's not every single person can be able to make money and support the family.
Correct.
Or him and his wife if they.
Correct.
So, what does he
So
do?
there are certain necessities that parents should step up. Should step up. If it's rent, if it's half rent, and so on and so forth. But getting a credit card to buy yourself a ribeye steak, I'm sorry, no.
Basically, so they should only help with necessities.
They should only help with necessities for a short time. I'm not obligated to buy my son a ribeye steak when he's hungry, when he wants to eat with his wife. I'm not obligated to make sure they have a vacation once a year. I'm not obligated for him to go to take out his wife. I'm not. And my kids know this already, and they're very young. They understand the fact that they are human beings, and their actions have repercussions, and that the way they choose to live their life, they have to answer for it. Am I a mean father? They can think that. But am I building up for them for success instead of failure? 100%. Even if I would be a millionaire, I would not give them any money. Because I don't need entitled kids.
Would you give them a loan?
For certain necessities, yes. Like to buy a house, that's another step in their life. I would not allow them to buy a house in the beginning of their marriage. I very much disagree on that also.
With any couple or just specific?
With any couple.
How many years?
You want to know why? Because it's not important at the beginning of your marriage.
Wait, a house or an apartment?
A house.
In general.
Let's say you have the ability to buy a house.
I'm answering your question. It has nothing to do with the ability. It has to do with the structure. This is what everyone's problem is. Everyone's looking about the ability of finances. I'm not talking about finances. There are certain things that a couples must need to know how to do. Basics. cook, clean, take care of the house, take care of the husband, take care of the wife. Sometimes when things become bigger, it becomes very overwhelming. Things stop to get appreciated. Even if I would want to buy my son an apartment, right? It would be based on a loan that he earns it eventually. He would have to pay the mortgage, he would have to pay whatever needs to be done, and in due time he can have it if he deserves it. Because if you just give it to them, you know what happens? They don't appreciate it. Now they think that you as a parent own them things. No, my friend.
I'm saying not even the parent. Let's say you yourself have the ability to buy a house when you get married.
I don't think it's a good idea.
You're saying,
I think maybe you could and not live in it. Because number one, you have to understand when you get married, the amount of curveballs that come to you are disastrous. You heard what I'm telling you?
So like a house is just more on top of that. In
Disastrous.
the beginning.
Because you have to learn how to figure each other out, and now you have so many other things now you have to worry about. The beginning of marriage has to be on foundations. Once foundations are built, then you can build everything else together. It's very important. People don't understand this. People think I'm crazy for saying this. I don't care. Don't jump steps. Buying a house is a huge accomplishment. Huge. It's a great feeling, but it's a huge accomplishment.
Apartment house, what's the difference?
Apartment is also a big step.
I'm saying, well, let's say it's a big apartment. It has a same house. It's just 2 floors.
I'm explaining to you. Duplex, a complex, it's the same thing. When you buy something, you're mamash. What does the Gemara say in Masechet Bava Basra? You never sell your first asset. It's a Gemara. You never sell your first asset you buy.
What is it defined as an asset?
An house, a place that you live.
Physical?
Yeah.
Tangible?
Not
That's argued if that's an asset or not.
I know, a house, an apartment, or so on and so forth. Not a stock. Talk about a property. I see the hand. I know you're eager to ask the question. Give me a second. You never sell it. Why? Buying a property is a humongous step. It's where a husband and wife have to mentally be ready for it. They gotta talk about it. They gotta decide on it. They gotta struggle a little bit for it. You know what's gonna happen if you move into a house or an apartment right away that you own? She'll never appreciate it.
So you guys already moved in right away.
Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
She'll never appreciate it. She'll thank you the first month, but she'll never appreciate it. She won't have it in her mind that, now I'm not spending rent for garbage. I'm building it up. I can then take out money on this apartment and so on and so forth. Because that's not really on her head, unless she's extremely business oriented in golden. There are not too many like those.
Because there's no build-up.
There is nothing that was achieved for it. If something is not achieved for it, it's a problem. It becomes disastrous. Unless you buy it, right? And you make sure they pay for the bills. That means it's not a gift yet. It's potential gift. Now, I'm not crazy for saying this, you just don't have kids yet. But when you have kids and you want your kids to be appreciative and structured and understand every single thing that is valuable, you'll learn not to give out handouts.
What if you think it just works out long term and it'll be cheaper?
I said that right now. I just said that. What did I say? I said even though you will be paying money on a property that you own, which is very good, but it shouldn't be given to you just like that.
Okay, what if you can afford it?
Even if you could, let's say you can afford. Let's say he can. Let's say the man can buy an apartment. Right? He can buy it. He can own it. Maybe he should, but he shouldn't tell her.
How does that work?
Now you think I'm really crazy by saying this, and I'll explain to you why.
And how does it come?
Normal families, normal households. I'm talking about normality. You can tell me I'm a feminist and all this crap you're gonna tell me. I'm gonna say I don't care about that right now. The woman takes care of the house.
Yeah.
Correct, right?
Right.
We agree on this.
So, yes.
Sometimes when the woman doesn't appreciate it, she won't take care of the house.
What does that mean, not take care of the house?
She won't
Who's gonna
clean.
Take care of the house?
Yeah, just like that. It could be shocking to you, but wait till you get married. It's not going to be so shocking anymore. They won't clean, piles of dishes, laundry all over the place, things not
I think that's
organized.
just personality
No,
already. I
no,
don't
no,
think
not
that's-
necessarily. Not necessarily. It's called being too comfortable. That's why I'm very against people dating for too long. Why? Because if they don't date too long, she doesn't want to look like a pig in front of him, or vice versa. So everything is always tip top. The house, the income, the everything. The respect, the love, the situation of the house is on the top. But if everything is so easy, it's a problem. Now, I'm not telling you not to have an easy life. Chas v'shalom, have an easy and good and successful life. But if you're not going to feel a certain I worked for it, you're not going to appreciate it.
Yeah, but you can't translate that to the woman.
Even to the guy, you can't translate it.
No, I'm saying, let's say a guy worked hard for his, stuff in life.
So that's exactly why you can't give it so easy.
I know, but I'm saying when you get married and you already have everything, how do you make her appreciate that?
She'll never appreciate it.
So where you gotta tell her I'm broke? Like, I
You don't gotta tell her you're broke, but you don't always have to say yes.
Dude, I don't know how that works though. You're gonna get married.
Correct.
You know everything. Like, what does that even mean?
So I'll explain to you. The woman has to understand, she has to have some dot. Or even the man. It could be that the woman that makes a lot of money and the man doesn't make anything. And now he thinks he found someone that has a lot of money, which I've had those cases too. Not everything that I want, I need to have.
Okay.
That's the problem. Everything that I want, I have, or I buy because I could, is a big issue. Huge issue. That's when bad habits come onto you. That's a problem. Now you might say, but I want it. Do you need it? You don't need it. So why do you want it? What good is gonna come out of it?
What makes you
Where's your the things don't make you happy.
What
No, but I'm saying a person's lifestyle, maybe if he grew up like that. I'm not saying like style.
That's another question. If you grew up with certain luxuries, how the Gemara says if a rich person gets broke, the whole community has to make sure he still continues living that rich life because that's who he is. I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about a situation where people that come from nothing or they are well-to-do and now they want to live luxurious or they want to get showered with certain goodies that they haven't earned. They could, but they won't appreciate it. That's all I'm saying.
And what if there's a specific community you're looking at and you see that there's houses rather than apartments or whatever, like this is just you're looking for a specific community and like whatever's in that community you're willing to look into. Cause I know people like is that like a,
What's wrong with renting?
No, you can rent, but
I'm saying buying a property is a huge step. That's all I said.
But you're still having. So you're saying it's better to rent the house than to buy the house.
I never said that.
You said.
I never said that.
You're saying the beginning of the marriage.
I never said that. In the beginning of the marriage, it's very dangerous. Both, not only hashkafically, also financially, because you don't know how this marriage is going to turn out. Hashkafically means the way the lifestyle of the life is going to be.
But Rabbi, let me ask, how do you balance that? Now, I'll just give you an example. I went to like a community in Long Island, right, where the people there loaded up the wall. They learn Torah, they work, make millions. Their wife has expensive jewelry. They have the craziest watches. And they're down to earth. They're humble. They're very spiritual, but they have a lot of physicality. But at the same time, they're very, very spiritual. They set up the table for Shabbat. They pray. They daven.
So your definition of spiritual and mine are different. But okay, continue.
No, I'm saying they have that energy they're giving off is they have all the diamonds. They have the watches.
I don't hear a question still.
I'm saying how do you balance it? Like you said, you're not gonna be grateful if you keep showering with luxuries and
99% of those people there, didn't start off like that. You're not understanding. That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't know, you guys are just being stubborn or stupid. They didn't start off like that. Majority of people that start off like that end poor. They end broke. You know what means entitled children? Entitled children are the worst children to hire ever. No one ever wants to work with those people. Do you want to know why? Because they feel everyone owns them. Everyone owes me everything. That's all I'm saying. When you get married, don't make your spouse into the idea of being entitled. That's all I said. Now, that breaks down into many different categories. I wish to buy my son an apartment. I said this. I'd rather buy him an apartment with his future in-laws and my daughters instead of making it such a lavish wedding. I'd rather take that money and put it and invest in an apartment. But I'm not giving it to them. It's not a gift. It's not a gift. This is where they're living. And if they obtain their marriage and everything's okay and everything is normal in their own marriage, they will earn it. They can have it after a while. And if they decide to one day move out, they can move out. They can sell it. It's their thing. That's all I said.
What's after a while?
That's already up to them.
No, what does that mean? They're already living there when they get married?
Correct. But it's not, they have to understand, this is not mine. This is not mine. This is my father's.
Paying for it.
No, they're paying for it. I'm not paying for it.
Okay. So
This is my father's house, right?
Down payment.
I have to pay all the bills. I'm paying rent basically. But my landlord is my father. That's it.
Okay.
But if they say, oh, I'm my own landlord and I got all these gifts right away and my father's rich, he paid for my house, it's mine, I can do whatever I want. You know what happens to those kids? They won't obtain it because they never earned it.
I see.
It will be disgusting. To walk into the house will be unappreciated. And this is a fact. No matter how clean the person is, the woman after a couple months, I don't like this place. No one confronted me that I want to live here. Oh, Delona, you got a free apartment. What are you complaining about? I don't like it. Give it back to your father. 100% of the time it's like that.
Fish.
100%! Why? It's free! You got it! You know why she's saying that? She never earned it. She never sweat. She never understood pain. That's all I'm saying. They need to feel pain in order to accept it. That's why marriages that they just swipe parents' credit cards are doomed. These are bad habits. Cut it off. Go work. Go work. You want to have fun? You want to do big boy stuff? Then you also have to work like a big boy.
I have another question.
Oh my God.
Rosh Hashanah.
It's never
Yeah,
gonna
no question.
Well,
It's
last
never gonna
question.
end.
Yeah,
It's
last
never
question.
gonna end.
He's like, she had enough already. I'm done with this one.
But I had a question for you, like I was just thinking about it. How is it appropriate that
Woman's
say,
rights.
No, when you get married and you want to live in the in-laws,
Well,
like the
Rosh Hashanah's
husband
coming.
side of the house, right? And they say you can't afford it, but how is it appropriate? What if they have brothers or like the father of the house? How is it appropriate that the woman is walking around or like they?
I don't understand one word you just said.
Living
But
with in-laws.
living with
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
in-laws.
say. Like, how is that appropriate on the woman's side?
I don't want to
walk
answer
around-
this question because this might hit home, right? If I answer it, am I hitting home?
No.
Oh, I'm not hitting home?
No.
Okay.
Do it.
Look at this. He's ready.
I just want to make sure I don't hurt anyone's
No,
relationship.
I just.
I don't think
In
you heard at the
general.
beginning. He said he and his brother both lived in their parents' house. What do you think his opinion is?
No,
gonna be?
I don't think. I think I'm gonna be very honest with you.
You gotta have privacy, Rabbi.
I want to be honest with you. We don't live 200 years ago. I don't think relationships where mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws in the same house is healthy anymore.
I don't think it was ever healthy, to be
Okay.
honest.
I'll explain to you why. There is no respect anymore. Back in the day, they at least respected their in-laws. They didn't like them, but they showed respect. The women respected their husbands. There was a certain hierarchy. There was someone in charge. Nowadays, when the daughter-in-law lives with the mother-in-law, she thinks she can overrule the mother-in-law. It becomes problematic. And you know who suffers the most? The son.
Because no one's to do.
because now he's stuck. He's married to 2 women. And who's enjoying it the most? Do you want to know? The father-in-law. His father. You want to know why?
Because he took his problem.
Yes, too.
Because his son took away his problem. And he has the pleasure of seeing his son every day with his wife.
Sure.
I don't think it's healthy.
But is it appropriate? That's my question.
If there's separate entrances and so on and so
Okay,
forth.
I've seen places where they say, okay, husband and wife's gonna live in the basement. Husband and wife have their own agendas now. They're doing their own thing. What if a woman comes out, has her monthly, or she will, like they're together or whatever it is. Like anybody could just walk in, or
That's a problem.
She wants to walk in like her sweatpants, and somebody's walking down the basement. Like I don't know how that's appropriate. Like,
I never said I agree to it. I say that first of all, if it's a separate apartment, that's another question on its
it's
own.
not a separate. Like,
But
a
if it's
basement
living
or a
in the
house.
same, house and you guys are always on the same floor, no, it's isur tzniut, isur yichud, isur, so many different halachic issues you come into.
But so many people do it because they have to financially. I understand that, but how is that appropriate?
I just answered you. If they do it, doesn't mean it's allowed.
Okay, so
Unless she always is around covered and the father is never alone with her and the mother-in-law, I don't know how that's possible. It's an amazing ambiance. Again, you're saying a lot of people do it.
I think you said that.
Not anymore. People
Yeah,
used to
but
do
you-
it.
but-
I did it with my parents and my in-laws.
God
Because
hears
when I
you.
bought my house, I was trying to save money,
Right.
so I moved into my in-laws,
Okay.
and I don't suggest that to anybody. My in-laws are great people. I didn't have privacy, and I moved into their house with 4 kids, and I still at the end got an apartment, even though I didn't move to my house yet. I still ended up in an apartment because it was just too much. I agree with you, but for me it was a bit easier because I moved into my in-laws. So my wife, on the other hand, not that she did, but if she would walk around with sweatpants, it's different than
And
if you
then
walk.
she has sisters that you like.
Yeah, it's not a sanua situation. Correct.
It's
It's not a proper thing. People should not live with their in-laws. I'm sorry. I know people are gonna be upset at me. Oh, he's young, he doesn't know what he's saying. I do know what I'm saying. I do. I deal with this age. I deal with the pain. I deal with it. Not you. You just want your kids never to leave. You have to cut the umbilical cord. That's it. If your son doesn't want to get a job, don't get him married. It's very simple.
Rabbi, on Rosh Hashanah, you get told, like, what do you call it? You have a cap on how much money you're going to make for the year. What decides that?
What decides the cap?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
What decides the cap now?
Well, listen, from
Forget about God right now.
Okay.
What decides the cap right now?
If you work, you'll make money.
There's your answer.
But if like you said on Rosh Hashanah, it's decided how much money we're gonna make that year. Is there obviously that amount is set? No.
Correct.
So is it possible that you're gonna make more, or
What
is
is
there
work?
anything
You know in Judaism what work means? Prayer. And Rosh Hashanah, the more you pray for it, even though I don't know why we're only praying for Parnasah. Whatever, there's so much other things that are more valuable. But let's say you pray for. First of all, you shouldn't say Parnasah. You should pray for Osher Muflegit, an abundance of richness. Parnasah means financial ease. You're not praying for. This is where everyone gets it wrong. Yeah, the Yenuka says to pray for Osher Muflegit, an abundance of wealth.
Osher Muflegit.
Look at him. He's gonna tattoo it on your forehead, right?
Why not use the old to Parnasah Shefa? It's the same thing, no?
Parnasah b'shefa means an abundance of. It means abundance of financial. It's basically. No, don't use the word parnasah. Use osher muflegit, an abundance of wealth.
Osher Muflegit.
Yes,
Can you say that? Osher?
not ocean. Osher
Osher
muflegit,
Muflegit.
an abundance of wealth. You typing it? You saving it? Yeah. Osher muflegit.
Please.
You know what else you should pray for? An eshet chaya.
Number one.
The greatest
Or an
osher,
eshet
the
chaya.
greatest osher in your life is an eshet chaya.
She brings the Parnasah.
What's that shit, Kyle?
Sure.
A woman that
Characters.
puts a woman that puts her husband's needs before her own needs. That's an Eshet Chayil. That's my answer. What's a good husband? A man that puts her needs before his own needs. It's vice versa. What's the question?
How do you know what you know?
How do you know? What?
How do you find out? How do you like?
How do you know if she's an Eshet Chayil?
Basically, yeah.
I'm sorry
What to look for,
I'm
what
sorry
to-
to tell you. I'm gonna break it to you. You'll never know.
Someone allowed to lie?
I'm sorry to tell you because I'm gonna tell you something. I have a case right now. We thought she was gonna be an Eshet Chayil. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, yeah.
She's giving her husband. She's not related to me in any way. She's giving her husband tzarei tzarot.
For what?
She's going to heaven.
No, but he's living hell.
Can you give some more details?
Do you know what I'm telling you?
Mhm.
Heaven is on this earth. He's in living hell. How can you want to live with such a human being like that? To live like that,
So you can never know. You can't do anything.
you need to only daven. Tefillah is your savior. That's why when people only say they want money, I laugh. Because money you can pray for every year. A wife, once you marry her, what are you going to pray for? Another wife? Shoot yourself in the foot.
Unless you get two.
How should one pray for a wife?
Be careful what you ask for.
By the way, halacha, is that allowed?
Be careful what you ask
I
for.
was-
Last question, go ahead.
I actually bought a book, Eshet Chayil, Zer Shimshon, and he explains how one should pray for an Eshet Chayil.
Okay.
And they were saying something about praying for your upper match or something like that.
Okay,
It
it's
was
called.
saying how you shouldn't
it's
ask
called
for this one person, maybe the right person at the right
Zivug
time.
Misheshet Yemei Bereshit, it's called.
It's not Zivug Elyon?
Rabbi, what's the
No,
difference?
I think it said Elyon.
Yeah, but you have to ask for whatever. Continue weiter. No, continue praying for whatever you pray.
What do you mean?
You say Zivug Elyon, ask for Zivug Elyon.
Can you explain what that means? That's what my question is, because I didn't understand it. Is it like the, I don't know, yeah, I don't understand it.
You see, we're trying to bring spirituality and things that we have to break it down. Let's break it down fast, very fast, because I have to go and everyone else has to go. Let's break it down. You ready? A man should pray in his tefillot for a woman that's going to help him complete his mission on this world. A man should also pray that if that entails for you to live, it could be that for you to finish your mission is a wife that's ishara, a bad wife, right? Could be, chas v'chalila. So we don't want that, right? So how do we pray? We pray for her success. She should be a tzaddiket, she should be a Eshet Chayil, I should be a tzaddik, I should be an ish tov, a baal tov, a good husband, a respectful husband, understanding husband, a caring husband, putting her needs before my needs, satisfying her both emotional and physical, having good kids, having the same ideology of how we want to live our life.
But if it's one way, she's not going to appreciate it.
What do you mean?
When you do everything for her. and
No, not true. That's why you have to pray for her to also put. This is what I tell you. What's a good marriage? When you put her needs before your needs, and she puts your needs before her needs. That creates an abundance of a family. Now, that doesn't mean now everyone's always doing what the other one wants. We're not robots. There's going to be conflict and things, but at the same time, there's certain understanding and appreciation and love and harmony in the house.
Wait, so Rabbi, what if you guys are thinking about where you guys want to go to eat, and she has one place in mind, and you have another, and where do you go? Where do you go where she wants?
You guys make a conclusion.
Who pays the bills? Who has the beds? That's where we're going.
You make the conclusion.
Straight up.
Okay.
Both of you make the conclusion. Why does it make a difference?
So
In your mind, you'd be surprised when people fight over.
So go eat, bro.
You'll be surprised when people fight over. You'd be surprised.
Bro, but do you believe that sometimes people need to fight?
Yes.
Like just for the stupidest like things, they'll just
Yes.
fight, like just to get them out, you know, just
Yes. Yes.
That's not fighting.
spice up the marriage, you know,
Yes.
just argue for the sake of doing it.
Yes. But the problem is when we stay in the fight forever.
That's the problem.
Okay? Final? Anything else? Done? That's the everybody.